First steps in academic writing. Unit 1, Introducing People. By the end of this unit, students will be able to use asking questions and taking notes as pre-writing activities. Apply knowledge of paragraph elements including topic, supporting, and concluding sentences. Apply the formatting rules for handwritten and typed paragraphs. Recognize subject, verb, and object in a sentence. Write simple sentences. Connecting simple sentences using connecting words and or. Recognize basic rules of capitalization and apply 4 steps of the writing process including pre-writing, first draft, editing, and final draft. Asking questions and taking notes. Whenever you write, you need ideas to write about. Taking notes is one way to get ideas. In this activity, you will ask a classmate some questions and take notes about his or her answers. When you take notes, you do not have to write complete sentences. Just write down the important information. Look at the topics in the following chart. Here are the topics: first name and family name. And the classmate's answers is Abdullah Al-Gahtani. His age, 21. His city and country, Abha, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. His family status, single. His religion is Islam. His length of time studying English is 1 semester or 6 months. His reason for studying English is to study in the university. His hobbies or sports are reading and football. Part 1. Organization. A paragraph is a group of related sentences about a single topic. The topic of a paragraph is one and only one idea. A paragraph has 3 main parts: the topic sentence, the supporting sentences, and the concluding sentence. Let's take a look at the topic sentence. The first sentence in a paragraph is a sentence that names the topic and tells what the paragraph will explain about the topic. This sentence is called the topic sentence. The middle sentences in a paragraph are called the supporting sentences. Supporting sentences give examples or other details about the topic. The last sentence in a paragraph is called the concluding sentence. A concluding sentence often repeats the topic sentence in different words or summarizes the main points. A paragraph is like a cheeseburger sandwich. Topic and sentence, the upper piece of bread. Supporting sentences are the inner filling, and the concluding sentence is the lower piece of the bread. Let's take a look at this delicious picture. At the top, the upper piece of the bread is the topic sentence. The inner filling is the supporting sentences, and the concluding sentence is the lower piece of bread. Each paragraph that you write for this class should also have a title. A title tells the topic of the paragraph in a few words. A title is short. It is not a complete sentence. It may be just one word. Here are some examples of titles: my classmate, friendship, a famous soccer player. Paragraph 1. Let's take a look at a paragraph about Miss Robinson, which is the title. This is an example of 3 parts of a paragraph: the topic sentence, which is sentence 1, the supporting sentences, which are sentence 2 through 10, and the concluding sentence, which is sentence 11. Let's start with the topic sentence, sentence number 1. My first grade teacher was an important person in my life. Her name was Miss Robinson. In the schools in my country, children usually learn to print before they learn to write. Miss Robinson didn't believe in printing. She thought it was a waste of time. She taught us to write in cursive script, like handwriting, from the first day. At first it was hard. She made us practice a lot. I remember filling entire pages just with capital O's. At the end of the year, we felt very grown up because we could write in cursive. Sentence 2 through sentence 10 are the supporting sentences. And the concluding sentence is sentence 11. Miss Robinson was important in my life because she taught me a valuable lesson. I can achieve anything by working hard. Paragraph 2, my best friend. Paragraph 2 is 13 sentences long. Sentence number 1 is the topic sentence. Sentences 2 through sentences 12 are the supporting sentences. And sentence 13 is the concluding sentence. I will read this for you. The topic sentence, sentence number 1. My best friend Freddie has 3 important qualities. First of all, Freddie is always ready to have fun. Sometimes we play frisbee in the park. Sometimes we just sit around in my room listening to music and talking. Well, I talk. Freddie just listens. Secondly, he is completely trustworthy. I can tell Freddie my deepest secrets, and he doesn't share them with anyone else. Third, Freddie understands my moods. When I am angry, he tries to make me feel better. When I am sad, he tries to comfort me. When I am happy, he is happy too. Sentences 2 through 12 are the supporting sentences. And the concluding sentence, sentence 13. To sum up, my best friend is fun to be with, trustworthy, and understanding, even if he is just a dog. You will study the 3 parts of a paragraph in more detail in Chapter 2. Paragraph form. Each paragraph has different and various forms. Part A is the title. Part B is where you indent. Part C is double spacing. And Part D is the margin. A, the title, is red. Do you notice a space here in the first sentence? This is B, indent. The space in between sentences are double spacing, and the margins along the side of the paper. Rules for paragraph form. Handwritten paragraph. Number 1, title. Center the title of your paragraph on the first line. Number 2, indent. Indent, which means move to the right, the first sentence a ½ inch from the left margin. Number 3, margins. Leave a 1-inch margin on the left and right sides of the paper. Also, leave a 1-inch margin at the bottom of the page. Number 4, spacing. Leave a blank line between each line of writing. Your teacher uses the space between lines to mark corrections. Number 5, connected sentences. Don't start a new sentence from a new line. Connect new sentences with the old ones. Computer-composed paragraph. Rules for paragraph form, Part 2. Number 1 is font. Use a standard font style such as Times New Roman. Do not use underlining, italics, or bold type to emphasize words. Number 2 is title. Skip one line and then center your title. Use the centering icon on your word processing program. Number 3 is body. Skip one line and start typing on the third line. Indent. Move to the right, the first line of each paragraph by using the Tab key. The Tab key automatically indents 5 spaces. Number 4, margins. Leave a 1-inch margin on the left and right margins. Spacing is number 5, and you should double space the body. Part 2, grammar and capitalization. A sentence is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb, and expresses a complete thought. A sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a period. These are sentences. Number 1, he is a student. Number 2, it is hot today. Number 3, he looks tired. Number 4, are you hungry? Number 5, who's there? Number 6, hurry. Number 7, the man bought a new car. Number 8, does your sister live with you? Number 9, where did you buy that hat? Number 10, don't be late. Number 11 is very athletic. There is no subject. English requires a subject in every sentence. Exception are the command sentences. Next topic. So corrected of number 11 is he is very athletic, and he is the subject. Number 12, the baby's sleepy. There is no verb in this sentence. English requires a verb in every sentence. Let's take a look at the corrected version. The baby is sleepy. Number 13, the man bought. This is not a complete thought. What did the man buy? Many verbs in English require an object. An object is a noun or pronoun that follows a verb. The corrected version of number 13 is, the man bought a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee is an object. Remember, an object is a noun or pronoun that follows a verb. Number 14. When I finish my education. This is not a complete thought. What will happen when I finish my education? If the following words comes in the beginning of a sentence, it is only half of a sentence. When, if, and because. You must join it to another subject and verb to make a complete thought. The corrected version of number 14 is, when I finish my education, comma, I will work for my uncle. Command sentences. If a sentence gives you a command or instruction, we understand that the subject is you, but we don't say or write you. The verb in a command sentence is always in the simple form. Stop, go, wait, be, eat. To make a command negative, put don't in front of the verb. Let's look at the commands. Be quiet. Wait for me. Peek slowly. Notice, in each of this, the subject is you, but we do not say or write you. We understand that the subject is you. Let's take a look at negative commands. To make a command negative, put don't in front of the verb. So the command in this case would be eat so much. To make this command negative, don't eat so much. The command in the next example is forget to call home. To make this negative, put don't in front of the verb forget, and it becomes don't forget to call home. And the third example is don't worry. Subjects, verbs, and objects. The subject tells who or what did something. It is a noun or pronoun. My roommate lost his keys. Who lost his keys? My roommate, and this is the subject. The taxi hit the child. What hit the child? The taxi. And this is the subject. Soccer and tennis are my favorite sports. What are my favorite sports? Soccer and tennis. In all of these examples, and in all future examples, the subject tells who or what did something. It is a noun or pronoun. The verb usually tells an action. Sometimes a verb doesn't tell an action. Sometimes it just links the subject with the rest of the sentence. Action verbs name an action, such as hit, live, lose, speak, go, and come. The three examples below read, the taxi hit the child. My family lives in a 2-bedroom apartment, and my roommate lost his keys. The highlighted verbs in all three of these examples are called action verbs, and they name an action. Linking verbs. Linking verbs link the subject with the rest of the sentence. Linking verbs do not have objects. The most common linking verbs are be, become, look, feel, seem, smell, sound, and taste. So let's take a look at the three examples below. Soccer and tennis are my favorite sports. I feel luck today. The air smells fresh and clean. The three examples, smells, feel, and are for linking verbs, tell us that linking verbs link the subject with the rest of the sentence. Linking verbs do not have objects. And the object. The object receives the action of an action verb. It is a noun or pronoun. To find an object, make a question by putting what after an action verb. This method for finding objects doesn't work with linking verbs because linking verbs do not have objects. The taxi hit the child. Hit what? The child. The child is an object. My roommate lost his keys. Lost what? His keys. His keys is an object. His girlfriend found them. Found what? Them. Them is an object. Not all sentences have objects. My family lives in a 2-bedroom apartment. Lives what? This is not possible. This sentence has no object. The sun is shining today. Is shining what? It's not possible. This sentence has no object. The fish didn't smell fresh. Didn't smell what? This isn't possible. This sentence has no object. There are 6 rules of capitalization. Rule number 1 is the first word in a sentence. And the example, my neighbor is a mechanic. The first word in a sentence is my, and it is capital. Rule number 2, the pronoun I. My friends and I often study together. Rule number 3, the names of people and their titles, but not a title without a name. Exception. A title without a name is sometimes capitalized if it refers to a specific person. Let's take a look. King Abdullah, President Putin, Professor Indiana Jones, Mr. and Mrs. Homer Simpson. He's a king. Let's take a look here. A title without a name is sometimes capitalized if it refers to a specific person. In this case, since it is not referring to a specific person, it is not capitalized. Have you met your math professor? The President of the United States had dinner with the Emperor of Japan. Rule number 4. Nationalities, languages, religions, and ethnic groups. For example, Saudi, Arabic, Muslim, Asian, American, English, Mughal, Pakistani, Urdu, Christian, and Native American. Rule number 5. Names of courses with numbers. Note, don't capitalize school subjects without numbers. The exceptions are nationalities, languages, and religions. Let's take a look at the examples. Psychology 101 and History 101. These are the names of courses with numbers. History, physics, math, and chemistry are not capitalized because they are school subjects without numbers. Russian history, English language, and Islam are nationalities, languages, and religions, so they will be capitalized. Number 6, specific places you could find on a map. For example, England, Riyadh, the North Pole, South America, Amazon River, and Times Square. Part 3, sentence structure. Here we have a sentence, and under the sentence there is simple, compound, complex, and compound complex. There are 4 kinds of sentences in English. Sentence 1 is simple, sentence 2 is compound, sentence 3 is complex, and sentence 4 is compound complex. In this chapter, we will study simple sentences. A simple sentence is a sentence that has one subject-verb pair. The word simple in simple sentence doesn't mean easy. It means one subject and verb pair. The subject in a simple sentence may be compound. My brother and I are completely different. The verb in a simple sentence may be compound. They laughed and cried at the same time. However, each sentence is a simple sentence because it has only one subject-verb pair. Analyze the simple sentences in the left column and their formulas in the right column. There are many variations, but each sentence has only one subject-verb pair. Let's look at sentence number 1. My younger sister speaks English well. The subject, my, and the verb, speaks. The formula for sentence number 1 is SV. Sentence number 2. My mother and father speak English very well. My mother and father, 2 subjects, speak one verb English very well. The formula is subject, subject, verb. Simple sentence number 3. My mother and father speak and write English very well. In here we have 2 sentences, 2 subjects, mother and father, and 2 verbs, speak, write. The formula is subject, subject, verb, verb. Simple sentence number 4. My parents is the subject. The verb will retire soon. This results in the formula subject, verb. Let's look at example number 5. Then They will move into a smaller apartment or live with my older brother and his family. The first subject is they. The first verb is will. The second verb is live. And the formula is subject, verb, verb. When we look for verbs, we count only main verbs. We do not count the following types of verbs. Do not count infinitive verbs. They have to before them. My grandmother wants to learn to drive. Count only once. Do not count to learn or to drive because they are infinitives. Do not count helping verbs as separate verbs. My sister will teach in exchange for cooking lessons. Count will teach as one verb, not two. Do not count the ing form as verbs when there is no be verb before it. A duck is swimming in the hotel swimming pool. Count only the first is swimming. The second swimming is not a verb. It is an adjective. Swimming is my favorite way to exercise. Count only is. In this sentence, swimming is a noun. There is no be verb before it, so it is not a verb. Connecting words and, or. Connecting words are called conjunctions. There are many conjunctions in English. Two of the most common ones are and, or. They have different meanings. And joins two or more similar things in positive sentences. I like Chinese and Italian food. We have class on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And in both of these examples, joins two or more similar things in positive sentences. In positive sentences. Or connects two or more similar things in negative sentences. I don't like warm milk or cold coffee. We don't have class on Tuesdays or Thursdays. Or in both of these examples connects two or more similar things in negative sentences. Connecting words are called conjunctions. The conjunction or also connects two or more choices or alternatives. I would like to go to London, Rome, or Paris on my next vacation. This means I cannot go to all three places. I will choose one. My father or my mother will meet me at the airport. This sentence means that only one person will come to the airport. In both of these examples, or connects two or more choices or alternatives. Let us compare. My father and my mother will meet me at the airport. This sentence means that two people will come to the airport. Use this chart to help you remember the meanings of and, or in a simple sentence. Use and to join two or more items in a positive sentence. For example, I love tacos, pizza, and egg rolls. Use or to join two or more items in a negative sentence. For example, I don't like hot dogs or hamburgers. True or false. Also use or to connect choices. Is this sentence true or false? Do you want to stay home or go out tonight? This sentence is true. Sentence combining is a way to improve your sentence writing skills. When you do a sentence combining exercise, you combine two or more short sentences into one longer sentence. All the long sentences together make a paragraph. There are a few rules for combining sentences. Number 1, don't repeat words if possible. Number 2, you may omit words but don't leave out any important information. Number 3, you may change words. For example, you may change a noun to a pronoun or make a singular word plural. Number 4, you may add connecting words. For example, and, or, but, and so. Example 1, A, I am a man. B, I am famous. The combined sentence of A and B is I am a famous man, I am a man, and I am famous. Is a grammatically correct sentence, but a native speaker would not write it. Another possible sentence is I am a man who is famous, but this sentence contains unnecessary words. Example 2, I have white hair. I have a long white beard. The combined sentence is I have white hair and a long white beard. You must keep the word white in the expressions white hair and a long white beard because it is important information. Part 4. Writing. There are various stages of writing. You have pre-writing, first draft, edit, and final draft. All of these are a part of writing. Good writing is more than just sitting down and talking on a piece of paper. Good writing involves thinking, planning, writing, and revising. You may become a good writer by always using these 4 steps. Step number 1 is to pre-write to get ideas and organize them. Step number 2 is to write the first draft. Step number 3 is to edit, which is check and revise your work. And step number 4 is write the final copy. In the pre-writing step, we get ideas to write about. Free writing is one way to gather ideas. Here's how to do free writing. Choose a topic and write it at the top of a piece of paper. Then write whatever sentences come into your mind about the topic. Don't worry about grammar, spelling, or punctuation. Don't worry about putting your ideas into any kind of order. Don't even write complete sentences. The goal is to keep writing without stopping for about 10 minutes or until you run out of ideas. My grandmother, she was a good cook, the best cook. Every weekend we have a big dinner with big bowls of food. Lots of talking. Everybody in the family there. Every time we eat the same food, but we always love it. Is our favorite meal. She never mad at us. She always defends us when we are in trouble with our parents. One time I picked all the roses in her garden. She not even mad then. Grandmother kind and generous. She gives food to poor people. She never makes them feel bad about taking it. Makes people feel good, just as she made me feel good when I picked all the roses. Thanked me for the beautiful bouquet. Mother really angry. Grandmother always forgives. Forgiving heart. Edit your free writing. After you finish writing, edit your free writing. Edit means to review and change writing in order to improve it. Read what you have written and choose one main idea for your paragraph. Cross out ideas that aren't related to the one main idea. In this paragraph, the student has written about his grandmother's kindness. She crossed out the parts about cooking and food. Let's take a look. My grandmother. She never mad at us. She always defends us when we are in trouble with our parents. One time I picked all the roses in her garden. She not even mad then. Grandmother kind and generous. She gives food to poor people. She never makes them feel bad about taking it. Makes people feel good, just as she made me feel good when I picked all the roses. Thanked me for the beautiful bouquet. Mother really angry. Grandmother always forgives. Forgiving heart. As you can see, this paragraph is about the grandmother's kindness and generosity. The sections that are crossed out are not about the grandmother's kindness. It is about how she cooks food. Step 2, you have to write the first draft. You write your paragraph in rough form without worrying too much about errors. The first writing is called the first draft or the rough draft. Let's look at it again. Free writing about my grandmother. My grandmother kind and generous. She never mad at us. She always defends us when we are in trouble with our parents. One time I picked all the roses in her garden. She not even mad then. She gives food to poor people. She never makes them feel bad about taking it. Makes people feel good, just as she made me feel good when I picked all the roses. Thanked me for the beautiful bouquet. Mother really angry. Grandmother always forgives. Forgiving heart. If you listen closely, you will be able to hear some of the mistakes that occurred in this paragraph. In the third step, you edit your paragraph. When you edit something, you check it and make changes and corrections. Editing is usually a 2-step process. Process number 1 is check the paragraph as a whole. Is the meaning clear? Number 2 is check the paragraph for good form, organization, grammar, punctuation, spelling, and so on. In the last step, you write a neat final copy of your paragraph to hand in to your teacher. Here is the final copy of our model paragraph. The corrections made by the writer include these. He crossed out unnecessary sentences. He added missing subjects and verbs. He moved sentences. And he changed the ending to match the beginning. The final copy. Free writing about my grandmother. My grandmother is kind and generous. She always makes people feel good. One time I picked all the roses in her garden. She wasn't mad even then. She thanked me for the beautiful bouquet. Grandmother also gives food to poor people. She never makes them feel bad about taking it. She makes them feel good, just as she made me feel good when I picked all the roses. I will always remember my grandmother's forgiveness and generosity. End of Unit 1. First steps in academic writing. Unit 2. Listing order paragraphs. Unit objectives. By the end of this unit, students will be able to use clustering as a pre-writing activity. Use transition signals in listing order paragraphs. Make an outline of a paragraph. Write compound sentences using and, but, or, so. Recognize two types of sentence errors, run-ons and comma splices. And practice the steps of writing, pre-writing, writing the first draft, editing the first draft, and the final copy. Clustering. Characteristics and abilities. A characteristic is a personal quality that is part of a person's personality. Examples of characteristics are shyness, boldness, patience, honesty, and creativity. A characteristic is something that you are. An ability is a physical or mental skill. For example, some jobs need people who are good at math, some who are good at public speaking, or who work well with their hands. An ability is something you can do. Characteristics and abilities. Under adjectives, we have creative, dedicated, dependable, diligent, diplomatic, fair, humorous, intelligent, knowledgeable, organized, patient, self-confident, and compassionate. Under nouns, we have fairness, intelligence, knowledge, organization, patience, self-confidence, charisma, dependability, diligence, diplomacy, compassion, creativity, dedication, and humor. Under the category other, you can say is good at math, is good at public speaking, is a leader, likes travel, works well with children, works well with hands, writes well. Now think of at least 3 characteristics and abilities for the job you are thinking about. Clustering is a pre-writing technique that helps you get ideas to write about. Here is how to do clustering. Begin by writing your chosen job or profession in the center of a piece of paper. For example, flight attendants. Draw a circle around it. Then write characteristics and abilities necessary for the job in circles around the main circle. Then connect them to the main circle like the picture below. So, characteristics and abilities for flight attendants. You could say, like to travel, physically strong, a lot of training, self-confident, knows foreign languages, and is friendly. Next, cross out circles that you don't want. Use the clusters that have the most circles. Throw away the ones that have few circles because they didn't produce many ideas. Keep your clustering paper. You will use it later to write a paragraph. For example, under flight attendants, we have foreign languages. We cross that out. We have like to travel. We cross that out. We have a lot of training. We cross that out. The ones that we use led to more ideas such as friendly, and from friendly can calm nervous passengers and explain noises. Also, we have physically strong, able to push heavy carts and heavy doors. We also have self-confident, which is give orders to passengers, emergencies, and get passengers to sit down. Part 1. Organization. In a listing order paragraph, you divide the topic into separate points. There are 3 keys to writing a listing order paragraph. Key number 1 is begin with a sentence that names your topic and says it has several points. Key number 2 is write about each point separately. Key number 3, end with a sentence that reminds your reader about the points you've just discussed. Let's look at a model listing order paragraph about flight attendants. Sentence number 1. Flight attendants have 3 important characteristics. Sentence number 2. First of all, flight attendants are friendly. Sentence number 3. They enjoy greeting passengers and making them feel comfortable. Sentence number 4. Sometimes passengers are afraid of flying. Sentence number 5. A friendly flight attendant can talk to them. Sentence number 5. A friendly flight attendant can talk to them and help them feel calm. Sentence number 6. For example, he or she can explain strange noises made by the aircraft. Sentence number 7. Second, flight attendants are self-confident. Sentence number 8. They give instructions to passengers and they must be firm enough so that passengers obey them. Sentence number 9. This characteristic is especially important in emergencies. Sentence number 10. Third, flight attendants are physically strong. Sentence number 11. They push heavy carts of food and drinks up and down the aisles. Sentence number 12. They also have to open and close the heavy doors of airplanes. Sentence 13. In short, flight attendants are friendly, self-confident, and strong. Questions on the model. Number 1. Look at the title. What is the topic of this paragraph? Number 2. Look at the first sentence. What does it say about the topic? Number 3. How many points should the reader look for in this paragraph? Number 4. List the number of points mentioned here, which is 3. Number 5. Now look at the last sentence. What information does it repeat? Please begin this exercise on your own. The 3 parts of a paragraph. In this chapter, we will study the 3 parts of a paragraph in more detail. The topic sentence. It tells the reader what the topic of the paragraph is. The topic sentence is usually the first sentence in a paragraph. It is the top piece of bread in our paragraph, cheeseburger sandwich. A topic sentence has 2 parts, a topic and a controlling idea. The topic part names the topic. The controlling idea part tells what the paragraph will say about the topic. For example, the topic of the previous model paragraph is flight attendants. The controlling idea tells us they have 3 characteristics. The paragraph will not tell us about their uniforms, their training, or their duties. It will only discuss 3 characteristics that flight attendants have. Here are examples of other topic sentences. The topic in all 3 examples is the same, English. The controlling idea in each says something different about English. English is constantly adding new words, topic and controlling idea. English borrows words from other languages, topic and controlling idea. English is necessary for many different jobs, topic and controlling idea. The topic and controlling idea brings the sentence. Usually the topic comes first and the controlling idea comes second in the topic sentence. However, the controlling idea may come first. In the A sentences, the topic is first. In the B sentences, the controlling idea is first. Now, let's take a look at the topic and controlling idea. In each of these sections, A, B, A, and B, the topic and controlling idea are underneath the sections where you will find the topic and controlling idea. So let's look at sentence A. English borrows words from other languages. Here we have the topic, and here we have the controlling idea. Let's look at B. Other languages give words to English. Here we have the controlling idea, and here we have the topic. Let's look at another example of A. English is necessary for many different jobs. Here we have the topic, and here we have the controlling idea. Let's look at B. Many different jobs require English. Here we have the controlling idea, and here we have the topic. Supporting sentences. The middle sentences of a paragraph are the supporting sentences. Supporting sentences explain or prove the idea in the topic sentence. They are the filling in a paragraph, a sandwich. Listing order, transition signals. A transition signal is a word or phrase that shows how one idea is related to another idea. In a listing order paragraph, use transition signals such as first, second, and third to tell your reader that these are main points. Here are some transition signals that show listing order. Number 1, first. First of all, second, third, in addition, also, and finally. Number 2, also. Number 1, place most listing order transition signals at the beginning of the sentence and put a comma after them. For example, first, comma, living in a foreign country helps you learn another language faster than studying it at school. Another example, in addition, comma, small colleges are friendlier, so new students make friends more quickly. Another example, also, comma, on a clear winter night, nothing is more fun than sitting with a group of friends around a big bonfire, talking, laughing, and singing. Please note that most listing order transition signals start at the beginning of the sentence and a comma is placed after them. Number 2, also may come in the middle of a sentence, between the subject and the verb, without a comma, or at the end of a sentence with a comma. Let's take a look. They also like to hang out at the beach with their friends. They like to hang out at the beach with their friends also. In this example, we are reminded that also may come in the middle of a sentence between the subject and the verb without a comma, or at the end of a sentence with a comma. Paragraph unity. Here is an important rule for writing supporting sentences. Unity. All the sentences in a paragraph are about one main idea. All the supporting sentences in a paragraph must be relevant. Relevant means directly related to the main idea. For example, if your paragraph is about your mother's good cooking, a sentence such as, "My sister is also a good cook," is not relevant because the paragraph is about your mother, not your sister. The opposite of relevant is irrelevant. The above sentence is irrelevant. The concluding sentence. An independent paragraph, that is, a paragraph that is not part of a longer composition, often has a concluding sentence at the end. A concluding sentence closes the paragraph so that the reader is not left expecting more. In this, you see a cheeseburger sandwich. The concluding sentence is like the bottom piece of bread on a cheeseburger sandwich. Sometimes a concluding sentence reminds the reader of the main point by restating the topic sentence in different words. For example, indeed a beach is a place to have fun all year. In short, you have 3 delicious choices when you order Thai curry. Sometimes a concluding sentence summarizes the main points. In short, flight attendants are friendly, self-confident, and strong. To summarize, employers look for dependable, responsible team players. Do not introduce a new idea in your concluding sentence. Just review or repeat the ideas you have already discussed. Here are 2 examples which are wrong. Also, flight attendants love to travel. In conclusion, I hope to become a flight attendant someday. Use a transition signal to tell your reader that this is the end of your paragraph. The following chart lists several conclusion signals. Notice that there is always a comma after conclusion signals. Conclusion signals. To conclude, in conclusion. To sum up, to summarize, in summary. In brief, in short, indeed. Making an outline is another part of pre-writing. Once you get ideas to write about, you need to organize them. An outline helps you do this. The following example is about flight attendants. Flight attendants have three important characteristics: A, friendliness; B, self-confidence; and C, physical strength. In short, flight attendants are friendly, self-confident, and strong. When you write an outline, try to make the main points A, B, C, and so on the same. Part 2. Sentence structure. There are different kinds of sentences, such as simple, compound, complex, and compound complex. A compound sentence is two simple sentences connected by a comma and a coordinating conjunction. Let's take a look at this. This is the basic formula for a compound sentence. Simple sentence, coordinating conjunction. Simple sentence. There are two sentences connected by a coordinating conjunction. These are compound sentences. My family goes camping every summer is the first simple sentence. The conjunction and joins them. And the last simple sentence is we usually have fun. And it reads, my family goes camping every summer, comma, and we usually have fun. Let's continue. Last year we went camping at Blue Lake, comma, but we had a terrible time. But in this example is showing two opposite feelings and or directions. Next year we will go to the beach, comma, or perhaps we will stay at home. The coordinating conjunction or in this example is giving you choices. We want to buy a house, comma, so we need to save money. You can't do one without the other. So joins simple sentences which rely on one another. Command sentences can also be compound. Remember that the subject you is not expressed in commands. Simple sentence, come visit us again soon, comma, and bring your family with you. Have a good time, comma, but don't stay out too late. In command sentences, you is invisible because it is not expressed in commands. It is implied. It is the invisible meaning. Here are three important points to know about compound sentences. A comma and a coordinating conjunction connect the two halves of a compound sentence. There are 7 coordinating conjunctions in English: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Remember them by fanboys. In this book, you will practice 4 of them: and, but, or, so. Let's look at fanboys. F stands for, A stands for and, N stands for nor. B stands for but, O stands for or, Y stands for yet, and S stands for so. Fanboys, for and nor, but or yet, and so. Don't confuse a compound sentence with a simple sentence that has a compound verb. The first sentence in each of the following pairs of sentences is simple and doesn't need a comma. The second one is compound and requires a comma. Simple versus compound sentences. Let's take a look at the examples. We have simple sentence with compound verb. The formula for this is subject, verb, verb. Let's take a look. My family goes camping every summer and usually has fun. Next we have a compound sentence. The formulas are subject, verb, comma, and subject, verb. Let's take a look. My family goes camping every summer, comma, and we usually have fun. Now we have simple sentence with a compound verb. The formula is subject, verb, verb. Last year we went camping but had a terrible time. And now for compound sentence, the formula is subject, verb, comma, but, and a subject verb. Let's take a look. Last year we went camping, comma, but everyone had a terrible time. Now, simple sentence with compound verb. What is the formula? Subject, verb, verb. Let's take a look. Next year we will go to the beach, or perhaps stay at home. And compound sentence for the last example. The formula is subject, verb, comma, or subject, verb. Next year we will go to the beach, comma, or perhaps we will stay at home. In compound sentences, and, but, or, and so have these meanings. And connects two positive or negative sentences with similar ideas. For example, my roommate is an art student and his sister plays in a rock band. Another one. He doesn't like rock music and she doesn't like art. Remember to use or, not and, in negative simple sentences. But connects two sentences with contrasting or opposite ideas. He likes classical music, comma, but he doesn't like rock. She likes country music, comma, but he hates it. Or connects two sentences that express alternatives or choices. Every Friday night they go to a classical concert, or they visit an art gallery. Every Saturday night he practices with his band, or they go to hear a rock concert. So connects a reason and a result. Let's take a look. They both like jazz, reason, comma, so the result, they go to jazz concerts together. He works a lot, reason, so they don't have to go out very often, result. Two sentence errors, run-ons and comma splices. Two sentence errors that writers sometimes make are run-ons and comma splices. These mistakes happen most often when the two sentences are related in meaning. A run-on is two simple sentences incorrectly joined with no coordinating conjunction and no comma. For example, my roommate wants to win the Tour de France someday. He spends hours riding on his bicycle. There's something missing here. Another bad example is write your signature on the line print your name before, Another example is write your signature on the line, print your name below it. Let's take a look. A comma splice is two simple sentences incorrectly joined with a comma alone. For example, my roommate wants to win the Tour de France someday. He spends hours riding on his bicycle. Write your signature on the line, print your name below it. There are two ways to fix these errors. Separate sentences with a period is the first example. For example, my roommate wants to win the Tour de France someday, period. He spends hours riding on his bicycle. Write your signature on the line, period, print your name below it. Another way to fix this error is to add or keep the comma and a coordinating conjunction. For example, my roommate wants to win the Tour de France someday, comma, so he spends hours riding his bicycle. Write your signature on the line, comma, and print your name below it. Part 3. Writing. Choose a topic and write a paragraph. Use listing order to organize your ideas. Step 1. Pre-write to get ideas. Make a list to get main ideas and details about your topic. Edit your list. Choose 2 to 4 main points. And make an outline. Your outline should include all 3 parts of the paragraph: topic sentence, supporting sentences, and concluding sentence. Step 2. Write the first draft. You should use a listing order signal to introduce each new main point. You should write 2 or 3 additional sentences to explain each main point. Step 3 is to edit the first draft. You should edit your paragraph before step 4, which is write the final copy, in which you write a neat final copy of your paragraph. This is your writing assignment. Please take a look at the screen. Push pause if necessary. Follow the 4 steps. End of Unit 2. First steps in academic writing. Unit 3, giving instructions. Unit 3, giving instructions, unit objectives. By the end of this unit, students will be able to use listing as a pre-writing activity. Write how-to paragraphs. Make an outline of a paragraph. Write complex sentences within time subordinators. Recognize independent and dependent clauses. Distinguish between 3 types of sentences: simple, compound, and complex. And practice the 4 rules of capitalization and the 4 rules of commas. Let's have a pre-writing activity. Listing. Look at the picture of the messy house after a party. Make a list of all the things you should do to clean it up. Write down every idea. Don't worry about putting the ideas in order. Keep your list. You will use it later to write a paragraph. Now, listing how to clean up after a party. Within these spaces on your own piece of paper, please write down all the things you should do to clean up after a party. Don't worry about the order in which the ideas come. Part 1. Organization. How-to paragraphs. How-to paragraph is a paragraph that gives instructions. This kind of paragraph is sometimes called a how-to paragraph because it explains how to do something. For example, how to change a flat tire. Or how to make something. For example, how to make a cup of tea. There are 4 keys to writing clear how-to paragraphs. Key number 1 is begin with a topic sentence that names the topic and says the paragraph will give instructions about it. Number 2. Divide the instructions into a series of steps. For some topics, you will put the steps in order by time and use time-order transition signals to show the order. First, do this. Next, do that. For other topics, you can use listing order. The third key is explain each step one by one. The fourth key is use transition signals to introduce each new step. Keep these 4 keys in your mind as you read the model paragraph. Model how-to paragraph. How to have a successful garage sale. How to have a successful garage sale. A 14-sentence how-to paragraph. Sentence number 1 is the topic sentence. Prepare ahead in order to have a successful garage sale. Sentences number 2 through 13 are the supporting sentences. First, collect used items in good condition. These items can be clothes, toys, books, dishes, lamps, furniture, TVs, pictures, and sporting goods. Clean everything well and store it in your garage until the day of the sale. Next, decide on a day and time for your sale. Third, decide on the prices and mark a price on each item. If you are not sure how much to charge, check the prices at other garage sales in your community. Fourth, make signs advertising the date, time, and address of your sale, and put them up around your neighborhood. Then get some change from the bank. Get at least $20 in $1 bills, a roll of quarters, and a roll of dimes. Finally, get up early on the morning of the sale and arrange the items on tables in your driveway and in your garage. After that, sit back and wait for your customers to arrive. Be prepared to bargain. If you follow all of these steps, your garage sale will be a great success. Questions on the model how-to paragraph. Question number 1. What is the topic of the model paragraph? Question number 2. Which sentence tells you the topic? What is the sentence called? Question number 3. How many main steps does the paragraph explain? Question number 4. Circle the transition signals that introduce each main step. And question number 5. Does this paragraph use time order or listing order to organize the steps? Topic and concluding sentences for how-to paragraphs. The topic part of a topic sentence for a how-to paragraph names the topic. In the model paragraph, the topic sentence names the topic, a garage sale. The controlling idea part tells that they will learn how to do or make something. In the model paragraph, the controlling idea is how to prepare in order to have a successful one. The following expressions tell that this is a how-to paragraph. By taking these steps, if you follow my advice, follow these instructions too. The concluding sentence of a how-to paragraph mentions the topic again to remind the reader what the paragraph was about. In no time at all, your flat tire will be repaired and you will be on your way again. If you follow these 4 steps, your baby will fall asleep within 5 minutes. You now have a delicious pizza to enjoy. These were examples of a concluding sentence in a how-to paragraph, which mentions the topic again to remind the reader what the paragraph was about. Listing and outlining. Like free writing and clustering, the listing activity that you did at the beginning of this chapter on your own and on your own piece of paper is a way to get ideas. In listing, you make a list of every word or phrase that comes into your mind when you think about a topic. As with free writing and clustering, you don't stop to wonder if an idea is good or if your spelling or grammar is correct. You just keep writing down words in a list until you run out of ideas. Model listing. How to have a successful garage sale. Let's look at some of the things that you need to do in order to have a successful garage sale in a model listing. You should collect used things in good condition, such as clothes, toys, books, and old dishes. Store them in a garage. Clean everything. Clean the garage. Arrange items on tables. Borrow tables. Make signs. And put signs around the neighborhood. Also, keep in mind that people don't buy broken and dirty things. Get change from the bank. Ask your friends to help. Decide on the prices. Put a price on each item. Buy price tags. Make sure everything is clean. Advertise. Try to have it on a sunny day. Decide on a day and time, and be prepared to bargain. After you've made a list, the next step is to edit the list. Decide what you want to include in your final paragraph and what you want to omit, which is not include. Notice how the writer edited his list. 1. He crossed out unimportant and repeated items. And 2. He numbered the main steps in order by time. Let's take a look. Borrow tables. People don't buy broken and dirty things. Ask your friends to help. Buy price tags. Make sure everything is clean. Advertise and try to have it on a sunny day have been crossed out. To make a simple outline, change the numbers to capital letters A, B, C, D, and so on. Write a topic sentence at the beginning and a concluding sentence at the end. It is easy to have a successful garage sale if you prepare for it ahead of time. A. Collect used things in good condition. B. Clean the items and store them in the garage. C. Decide on a day and time for your sale. D. Decide on the prices and mark a price on each item. E. Make signs to advertise. F. Put signs around the neighborhood. G. Get change from a bank. H. Arrange items on tables in your driveway or yard. Be prepared to bargain. If you follow all of these steps, your garage sale will be a great success. Part 2. Sentence Structure. In chapters 1 and 2, we studied about simple and compound sentences. A third kind of sentence is a complex sentence. Before we study these, let's learn about clauses. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. There are two kinds of clauses in English: independent clauses and dependent clauses. Let's take a look at the independent clause. It rained, subject, verb. And the dependent clause, because it rained, subject, verb. An independent clause has one subject-verb pair and expresses a complete thought. Independent clause is just another name for a simple sentence. For example, Paris has excellent art museums. One subject-verb pair and it is a complete thought. Or we finished our homework. One subject-verb pair and it is a complete thought. A dependent clause is an independent clause with a subordinating word, such as because, after, and when, added to the beginning of it. The subordinating word is because, and now the sentence continues. Paris has excellent art museums. The subordinating word is after, and it continues. We finished our homework. An independent clause. A dependent clause does not express a complete thought, so it is not a sentence by itself. It is only half of a sentence. It must be joined to an independent clause. Together, the two clauses express a complete thought. Now let's take a look at independent clause and dependent clause in example number 1. The independent clause is art students should visit Paris. It's a sentence which can stand alone by itself, but the dependent clause because it has excellent art museums. Both of these together form a complete thought, and that is, art students should visit Paris because it has excellent art museums. Now let's look at another example where we start with a dependent clause and end with an independent clause. The dependent clause, after we finished our homework, goes with the independent clause, we watched TV for a while. Both of these together express a complete thought. After we finished our homework, we watched TV for a while. Adverb subordinators. Adverb subordinators are subordinating words that can make a dependent clause. Adverb subordinators introduce dependent clauses that act like adverbs. That is, they answer the questions when, why, where, and so on. Certain adverb subordinators introduce time clauses. Here are some common time subordinators. I will read the time subordinator on the left and give you the example on the right. After. I will go straight to bed after I finish writing this paragraph. As soon as. She felt better as soon as she took the medicine. Before. Wait for a green light before you cross the street. Since. It has been a year since I left home. Until. We can't leave the room until everyone finishes the test. When. Where were you when I called? Whenever. Whenever I don't sleep well, I feel sick the next day. While. My neighbors were having a party while I was trying to sleep. A few time subordinators are also prepositions. Prepositions are followed by nouns. Subordinators are followed by subject-verb combinations. Let's take a look at an example of preposition. After my accident. This is a preposition because it is followed by a noun. Subordinator. After I had an accident. This is an example of subordinator because it is followed by a subject-verb combination. Preposition. This is a preposition because before class is followed by a noun. Subordinator. Before class begins. This is a subordinator because it is followed by subject-verb combination. Until 10 o'clock is a preposition because after until is a noun. Subordinator. Until the bell rings. This is a subordinator because it is followed by a subject-verb combination. In addition to time order transition signals such as first, next, after that, and so on, you can use time clauses to show time order. Before you start writing, look over the test. After you have answered the easy questions, go back and work on the hard ones. A complex sentence has one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. When the dependent clause begins with an adverb subordinator, the clauses can usually be in any order. For example, we ran for shelter as soon as it started to rain. Or, as soon as it started to rain, comma, we ran for shelter. If the independent clause is first, don't use a comma. If the dependent clause is first, put a comma after it, as in this example. As soon as it started to rain, we ran for shelter. Sentence errors, fragments. In Chapter 2, you studied two types of sentence errors, run-ons and comma splices. A third kind of sentence error is called a fragment. The word fragment means a part of something. A sentence fragment is only part of a sentence or half of a sentence. It is not a complete sentence. These are fragments. Before the test began. As soon as you get home. They are fragments because they are dependent clauses. A dependent clause cannot be a sentence by itself. To fix this kind of fragment, add an independent clause to it. Complete sentence. The teacher passed out pencils and paper before the test began. Or, call me as soon as you get home. These sentences are now complete. A simple sentence has one independent clause. For example, it was a sunny day. Or, raise your hand to ask a question. A compound sentence has two or more independent clauses, joined by a comma and a coordinating conjunction. For example, it Was a sunny day, comma, so we went to the beach. Talk quietly, comma, or don't talk at all. A complex sentence has one independent and one or more dependent clauses. A comma is needed when a dependent clause comes before an independent clause. For example, while the meat is cooking, comma, prepare the sauce. Prepare the sauce while the meat is cooking. In this example, at the bottom, the independent clause comes before the dependent clause. In this example, at the top, the dependent clause comes before the independent clauses, and a comma is needed in this example. Unit 3, Giving Instructions. Part 3, Capitalization and Punctuation. Rules. To continue the rules of capitalization, let's read number 7. You should capitalize names of specific structures such as buildings, roads, and bridges. Please take a look at the examples on the right. Number 8. You should capitalize the names of specific organizations such as businesses, schools, and clubs. Please take a look at the examples on the right. Number 9. You should capitalize the names of the days, months, holidays, and special time periods, but not the names of seasons. Please take a look at the examples on the right. Number 10. You should capitalize geographic areas, but not compass directions. Please take a look at the examples on the right. There are now 4 rules for capitalization using a comma. You should use a comma after a listing order and time order signals, except then. Examples. First, put 4 cups of rice into the pan. After that, fold the paper in half again. After the test, go out and celebrate. You should also use a comma before coordinating conjunctions in a compound sentence. The exception is sometimes writers omit this comma in very short sentences. For example, some people like to travel, comma, and others like to have an adventure. Cook the steak over high heat for 6 minutes, but don't let it burn. In very short sentences, you can omit the comma. For example, dogs bark and cats meow. Turn left and drive 1 block. You should also use a comma in a complex sentence when a dependent adverb clause comes before an independent clause. While you are waiting for the pizza dough to rise, comma, make the sauce. After you take the pizza out of the oven, comma, cut it into 8 pieces. You should also use a comma to separate items in a series. A series is 3 or more things. These may be words or phrases, which are groups of words. For example, 1 dog, comma, 1 cat, comma, 2 goldfish, comma, a bird, comma, and 4 humans live at our house. Every morning I get up early, comma, run a mile, comma, take a shower, comma, eat breakfast, comma, and feed my pets. Turn left at the stoplight, comma, go 1 block, comma, and turn right. Commas. Writer's tips. If there are 3 items in a series, some writers omit the last comma. However, it is a good idea to use all the commas because commas make your meaning clearer. For example, I have visited many countries in Europe, Asia, and America. Shopping, relaxing, and visiting friends are my favorite weekend activities. Writer's tip number 2 for commas. With only 2 items, don't use any commas. I have visited many countries in Europe and Asia. Sleeping and hanging out with my friends are my teenage son's favorite weekend activities.